Well, I thought the best way to talk about the flipped classroom was actually to record a video explaining the flipped classroom. So this is a quick little video explaining the how and the why of the flipped classroom educational model. Now, the flipped classroom has actually been around for a while, and you may have heard it mentioned by these various different names. First of all, what has not changed between what we previously did in the traditional classroom and the flipped model? Good teaching practices are necessary in all models of instruction, and that's not changed with the flipped classroom. There are some constants. First of all, students receive the same lesson on the video that they would receive in class. They also work a check for understanding problem. Now this is referring to the math classroom, and they are allowed to check their answers with the video. So when they work a problem, then they restart the video and they can find out if they've got the right answer or not. Then I do a brief explanation of how to work the problem so they can try it again. The next day in class, we actually start the lesson with a closure where I tie the important concepts of the lesson together, make sure that everyone has focused on the proper content. And then I always have to work some of the more difficult problems on the board for the entire class in our question and answer sessions. So that's what's not changed, but there are quite a few things that are different in the flipped classroom. And as you'll see, I have a high tolerance for change. First of all, the flipped classroom is student-centered learning. They can watch the video at their pace. It accommodates all different types of learning styles. They never miss a lesson when not in class, so this is handy during the flu season. They're starting to feel better, but they can't come to class until they're 24 hours fever-free, so they can watch the lesson and maintain where the class is. They get their questions answered during school hours, so this is considerably cut down on me needing to meet with students before and after school. And also, students now take responsibility for their own learning. What's different for the teacher is that I'm no longer the presenter on stage performing 6 times a day. I become more of a tutor or a coach for the students. I have more time to spend with individual students that need help, and when I'm absent from the class, learning does not need to stop. In a typical day, we begin with a spiral review that lasts about 5 minutes. This is their warm-up activity while I'm doing all my administrative functions to begin class. The next 10 minutes, we have a question and answer period over the video. This is where I tie concepts together. We do graphic organizer that affirms and cements what we learned the night before on the video. And they see that math is magical. So what was a mystery to them before now becomes clear. And then in the final 35 minutes of class, we spend on guided and independent practice. It doesn't do any good for the students to practice doing the problems incorrectly. If they're doing the work in class, I can see that all misconceptions are taken care of because this is 100% of the students doing the stuff correctly 100% of the time. Practice makes permanent. So it doesn't make perfect. If they're practicing it imperfectly, then they have imperfect practice. So why should you flip? It's all about meeting student needs. So the busy students, the ones that are the athletes that are having to shuffle a job and school at the same time, they can squeeze the lecture in more on their time frame. The struggling students, they can press that rewind button on that video as many times as they need to go back and pick up information they've missed. It increases the student-teacher interaction. So I get to better learn my individual students' needs. I get to spend more one-on-one time with each student, and I get to spend increased time. There's days that I don't spend much time with those students that aren't struggling, and I spend extra time with students that are. It increases student-to-student interaction. We do the see through than me. So if I'm busy with another student, they talk to the students at their group. This is one of the mathematical practices with the Common Core standards. Precision and communication. So they're using the proper vocabulary to interact with other peers. It allows for individualized instruction. You know, not all students are visual learners or auditory learners. Some students like best to, after they've seen the video, open up a textbook. I've taught them how to read mathematical text. So it's increasing their ability to understand informational text. It also makes the classroom transparent. We are in an age where education is mistrusted, and there's all kind of myths out there about what's happening in our school system. Well, if parents and other community members can see what's actually happening in the classroom, then there's no doubts about what's going on. There are some drawbacks. I'm not saying the flipped classroom is perfect. When students are watching the video, they can't immediately ask a question. So I've incorporated a summary system and a question and answer system so that each student's required to come up with at least one question for me that I'm going to answer the next day. There are reluctant learners, and this year I've discovered the seniors have been the most reluctant learners. The seniors have become experts at playing school. They come in, they get out their notebook, they take their notes, and then they want to go home and do the homework. If it's difficult, they don't try to even solve the problems. So they've learned how to play school, not become learners. And not all students have internet. About out of 75, 80 students, 6, 7 may not have internet. They have overcome this. A lot of them are watching the video during seminar. I've got one student that goes to his aunt's house to watch the videos. A couple go to the library and use their internet access. Another drawback, it can be very time consuming as you build your library. When you jump in with both feet and want to totally flip your classroom, it is very time consuming. So if you think you still may want to flip your classroom, where's the best place to begin? You can either start slow or you can dive in head first. Choice is yours. So you can use your individual teaching style. You can choose to flip maybe only one lesson. And I understand in the elementary school, that's where it works best, just flipping a certain lesson. High school, you may want to flip a lesson or maybe one unit per 9 weeks or semester. Start out slow, set your goals small, and then build from there. There are videos for your content area already on the internet that you can utilize. However, my students prefer to hear and see me. They've made that note, and I've heard that from other flipping classroom webinars, that students actually prefer to see and hear you. You could use a video as a hook rather than the entire lesson, so something that gains their interest before beginning the lesson. Or you can go all out as I did this year and record your videos this summer in preparation for next year. I will say I didn't get them all done this summer. I got to start, but now I'm completing them as I go throughout the year. If you would like to have more information on how to flip your classroom, this is an excellent book. It's a short book, only 112 pages. It's easy to read in a weekend. This is a website that the men that wrote this book that pioneered the flipped classroom. There's a 2-minute short video of them talking about the flipped classroom. Then there's the Flip Learning Network. It's an excellent resource. Now this video I use creating a PowerPoint slide and Screencast-O-Matic, which is free video recording software on the internet. And I've listed where you can find it's at www.screencast-o-matic.com. And I want you to know I am by no means a technical guru. I still have trouble operating my VCR and DVD player. So if I can do this, anybody can. So good luck, everyone.